I was contacted by Stephen Emmer via email, which is the way to go nowadays. And he told me to go look at his MySpace site, where he had 4 of these songs from Recitement in demo form. And I thought they were absolutely beautiful. I thought this was a great idea. I thought it was fantastic using original recordings. I mean, there were so many positive things about it that I liked. And, but I wasn't sure of, whether this would be a commercial venture or a super overindulgent venture, which is okay. I mean, I like to be indulgent, very much so. But I consulted my manager, and I said, have a listen to this. Do you think I should do it? And he wrote back and he said, it's stunning. I mean, it was my manager, Joe D'Ambrosio, who really said, just do it. He goes, it's just too beautiful. And that was really it. I like to get a second opinion. I mean, I thought it was really good. And then I had lots of emails, lots of email exchanges between Stephen Emmer and myself. And we talked about how we would proceed. And which was quite unusual because I already started work on this after we agreed to work together without having met Mr. Emmer. We spoke on the phone, and I think we probably emailed about 30 times before we spoke on the phone. And I thought he was a real likable chap. I think we got on really well together. And after I did four or five trial mixes, Stephen Emmer came to New York and we met face to face. And we felt that we could work together and finish Recitement. It's different in the sense that we have the original poets in many cases reciting their own poetry. And some of these poets are no longer living. And it's very exciting that Mr. Emmer went out of his way to find the original recordings. And some of them were like in really bad shape. And I told him, I said, it's really nice that we have so-and-so reciting their poetry, but this is a terrible recording. So instead of having someone else reread these things, if we could find the original recording, we got it no matter what shape it was in. And between Stephen Emmer and myself, we cleaned them up. And when I say clean them up, we used every possible modern audio technique to get the most clarity out of these readings of poetry and get rid of the little scratches. Some of these were on vinyl, some of these were on cassette. And then in many cases, a lot of the poets were long dead before recording was invented. So Stephen employed several actors to read the poetry. And one of them, well, he didn't employ them, but we managed to get Richard Burton reciting some poetry on a vinyl from the 70s. So that was quite exciting to work with Richard Burton. The reading of Thoreau's Passengers. The reading of Thoreau's Passages, I just asked my friend Lou Reed if he'd like to read this, and it happened to be one of his favorite works. So this is why this album is very different and than other poetry and music albums, because it really has more scope, more thought went into this than any other music and poetry album I know of. This took months and months to make. And I'm just only talking about the poetry part. Mr. Emmer is a really great composer. And rather than have a very similar background music for each poem, or each recitement, he went out of his way to structure a very particular type of music for the mood of each composition. So you have a potpourri of many, many styles and sounds, and not many composers can pull this off. Stephen Emmer has the knowledge, the skill, and of course the talent to do this. So every single song is an oral treat. It's completely different orchestrations. There's electric guitars, there's symphony orchestras, there's choirs, there's hip-hop beats, and sound effects. And as I said, this took many, many months to record and mix, and probably, Mr. Emmer can tell you, it probably took him years to really come up with these concepts. When I heard the demos on MySpace, it was just Stephen Emmer doing most of the instruments, playing most of the instruments, and there was a minimal kind of MIDI keyboard orchestration. And he assured me that, you know, he had strings, he had big string sections, recorded in Manchester in England. And when I finally heard them, and I heard the transition from demos to final recordings, or final realizations, I thought the level of professionalism was just amazing. When I hear this, as just musical compositions, we have two versions, you know. We have one version just for ourselves, without the poetry, without the spoken word. These come off as spectacular pieces of music, played extremely well. And I even remember Lou Reed, after he read his poetry and I was just fooling around with a basic mix, he just sat back and said, "This is beautiful." He goes, what do you call this? He goes, "This is just beautiful." So you don't need my opinion alone. You have Mr. Lou Reed's opinion too, that this music is recorded and conceived and played at a very high professional level.